We're rolling. Well, here we go. We're gonna break down the drums for Payoff, baby. What we ended up doing was to save DSP, because that is the name of the game in mixing, bounce down the tracks, each drum track after we applied some of the plugin settings. But I'm gonna recall some of the plugin settings here so you guys can kind of hear a little bit of a before and after. So starting with the kick. So that's the raw kick sound. A little bouncy. We can fix that. So this is the processing that we applied. We did a little bit of tape on the drums. Tape on the drums is always a good choice, I think. An EQ here just to kind of notch out some of that boomier low end, just to kind of give it a little more punch in the mix. We use this Pultec Vintage EQ again to kind of add a little bit more of the 300 low end, that just to give it a little more of a round sound. Carving out some of the 200, and then a little bit of 4K to give it some punch in the mix. And then of course a little bit of compression. And this is what that sounds like all together. So before and after. A lot more present, which we like. So that's the kick. We're gonna look at the snare drum now. Critical piece of the backbeat. It is the backbeat. You heard it here first, folks. All right, so again, here's our dry snare sound. And then here's what we use for the plugins. Like the kick, we applied a good amount of tape. You can see we pretty much cranked the input there just to give it a little more beef, which is always good.
Beef.
Doing some EQ again to take out a lot of that low end mud, and just getting snares tend to become a little more present in the mix in the 200 range, so we kind of boosted there. We added this Neve 1073 channel strip as well, just to kind of I kind of like to use this channel EQ to kind of get like a ballpark sound of the snare, just to like dial it in, or like any instrument for that matter. I kind of like to use this EQ to just kind of dial it in, and then use like a more kind of fancier EQ to really craft and mold the sound of the instrument. So we did that here with the snare using the 1073, a classic EQ. And then a good old distressor, on the big snare setting to really, get that snare to cut in the mix. So after, it sounds like this. A lot crispier, a lot more present. So without, and then with everything in.
A lot crispier.
That funks. So that's the snare. So now we go over to the crotch mic. So we only had five mics on this kit. So we did a kick mic, snare mic, crotch mic, which is not a mic literally on the crotch, but like kind of just hovering over the kick, pointed towards the crotch to kind of pick up like the whole sound of the kit. And then we had the Glyn John set up on the overhead. So we had one right over the toms, like just kind of over the center of the kit. And then the other overhead over by the floor tom, and equal distance from the center of the snare. So we get like a nice kind of stereo image of the drum kit. So very minimal miking. We recorded this in the Baby Grand, so there's almost like a natural room reverb that you're hearing, which is really great. We didn't add any kind of reverb plugins to the drum sound, like that is the room, so pretty cool that we were able to get that. But now we're going to take a look at this crotch mic. So not much happening here. Pretty low key.
I'll just turn it up a little bit just so they can hear it.
Yeah.
But turn it down when it's all done. So it's at 13.
Was that 13?
Yeah.
So you can hear that. It's kind of picking up, more of the center of the drum kit. So if we load up the, it's weird, I had to like load another channel strip before, there we go. drop that back down.
15, I guess. Whatever it was.
It was around that.
Around there.
So this is with everything engaged.
Ooh.
So very lively. What we're using here is a little bit of distortion to really kind of make that mic sound a little more alive. Doing some very interesting EQ. We wanted to keep the low end in to get kind of the full picture of the drum set. Again, we've got the Neve here to kind of shape the sound a little bit more. And we've really just slammed it with the room boom setting. You gotta love these plugin setting names. They're really great. The Distressor is awesome, though. It's a good plugin for just kind of getting those larger than life drum sounds. So this is what we use with the crotch mic. So a little before and after.
No volume.
No volume. And there we go. That's the crotch mic. We'll go over to the overheads now. So we got the left one, which is the one kind of right over the rack tom and the snare drum, and that sounds like this. So again, you can really, even without processing, you can still really hear that room sound. So these mics did a good job of picking that up. Even though they were pretty close mic to the drum kit, you can still get a lot of that room ambience, which is really great. So the overhead left, the processing we did on that, some tape, as per usual. We did a channel EQ to just kind of take out some of that low end a little bit, and just we were relying on these overhead mics a lot to pick up the toms. We didn't have any tom mics. So we were really reliant on these mics to pick that up, and we wanted to make sure that the toms weren't too boomy either, so that's why we're carving out some of that low end and kind of boosting just around 200, 150, 200, and doing a bit of a mid-range scoop here to kind of shape that tom sound a little bit more. And then using the trusty Pultec to kind of shape that even further, doing a bit of a mid-range scoop here at 300 to really kind of carve that sound out. And then to get that attack and punch from the toms, we're boosting pretty heavily at 4K. And then an API 2500 bus compressor on the overheads, just to make them a little more lively and really get those toms to sing in the mix. So you heard the before, and then with everything in, it sounds a little like this. I'll play a section with the drums here. That's before, or I mean, that's after. What am I talking about? Maybe I need more coffee. I don't know. That's before. And after. That's it. So altogether, I'm gonna
still got one more.
Oh, the overhead, the low one is pretty much exactly the same as
okay.
yeah. So I should disclaimer and say it is the exact same plugins we used for the right side overhead as well as the top one. So just to keep that sound consistent and make sure they're in phase, kept the mix plugins the same. So altogether, the drums sound like this. I'm gonna solo process tracks.
Yeah. Huge.
And then I'm gonna do a solo of the unprocessed. Drum bus compression.
That is it.
Here we go. We've sent a little bit of snare, the crotch mic, and the two overheads over to the parallel drum compression channel to really kind of help those instruments sit a little bit better in the overall mix. So without the parallel compression on the drums, you get something like this.
Half moon run, and don't expect me to wanna take you home. I'm good, no thanks, move along.
Switch.
Saying you got a lot of nerve to crawl back in, and I hate to make you feel rejected all over again. I'm sorry, but
Subtle, but you can hear that the drums are just sitting a little bit better in the mix overall. So there we go. That's the drum sound for Payoff Baby.
Do you want to kind of go through the horn section first? Just
Yeah.
because you were kind of there for the recording of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we get into the horns.
Horns.
Doot doot. So we decided to multi-track some horns, and Helena did all of the horns herself, which is just damn impressive. But she recorded an alto sax part, a baritone sax part, and a trumpet line.
And tenor.
And tenor. There was tenor too? Damn, okay. So 4 horns on this thing, which is just super cool.
I think there's tenor. Oh yeah, there's tenor.
Is there?
Yep.
All right, sweet. So the result of all of that is you get this really, really funky horn line that just elevates the song to like a whole other level. And again, because we were recording in the Baby Grand Theater, we just got this unbelievable ambience to the horn tracks. And when we were tracking the horn, we did a close mic on the horn, and then we had a couple of room mics set up while we were tracking. So we had a room mic that was kind of near where the horn was being played, and then we had a room mic that was like kind of in the middle of the room, like way, way, way up. So just kind of capturing the ambience of the whole room. So you can really hear that well in the final track, and I'll solo that here for you so you can hear what's going on.
Yeah, solo it all.
Yeah,
So much space. I love
so much space.
it. Maybe go to the intro.
Yeah,
The intro.
true. Let's use the intro part. A little more going on there.
Still space.
Some of those rooms.
Those
Are you
rooms.
kidding me? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and we use that same riff as kind of a callback after the first chorus.
Yes, yeah.
Double length, classic.
Why
Classic
not?
Songwriting. Or no, half the length? Nah, I don't even remember. We give it a play.
Arrangement 101. Arrangement 101. Here we go.
and everybody knows you gotta work for your payoff, baby. If you want the truth, I'll give it to you. My cup is
Come
Dope.
on. Yeah, need I say anything else? I don't know. Like, we did a little bit of processing on these horns. So I think what we did was we ended up, we just, because there were so many mics on the horn tracks themselves, what we ended up doing was we kind of grouped them all together. So we grouped the direct mic and the 2 room mics into one channel. So you can see here we did, you know, one whole group for the alto sax, and then we did one whole group for the trumpet, and so on and so forth. Just to, again, save on that DSP, but just make sure that we were processing all the mics kind of together as one unit, one cohesive instrument. So, you know, good old tape on there. We used a Studer this time, which does something a little bit different than the Oxide tape. I don't really know what it is, but it just adds some kind of magic to this instrument.
Adds mojo.
There it is. It's the Mojo Machine. And then we just got rid of some of that, again, the low end, up to the 150. So there's just kind of some low end rumbling in the room that you get when you're recording in a big room like that, just so to make everything a little bit cleaner. Carve all of that out. And then using the Pultec to do a little more shaping. And then a distressor using the vocal tracking setting, which is interesting. But it just worked really, really well specifically for the alto. So that's a little bit of a breakdown on the alto. Trumpet, same kind of thing. We used oxide tape for this, really cranking the input and just lowering the output a little bit just to get a little more, I guess, I don't know what you want to call it, mojo. Saturation. And more of the same here, just kind of scooping out that low end, doing it a little more aggressively on the trumpet here. And then again, the Pultec to do the shaping, and a good old Logic compressor to really kind of bring the whole instrument together. And then we have the Barry sax. And this one we kept pretty simple. We actually did a pretty interesting EQ move here. Look at that. Is that like Mount Everest? I don't even know what that is. But we did something pretty interesting on the Barry. Because it's got a little more low end, we wanted to really cut in the mix. So we boosted the low end a little bit and just carved out some of the mids just to get it a little more articulate in the mix. And a compressor. And that's pretty much it. So we'll do a little before and after. So I'll turn everything off here. We'll do a before or after with everything in. A little more articulate with everything processed. Moving on to the trumpet. Do the before. And then after. Crispy, cohesive, all the things you want in a trumpet track. And then the baritone will do a little before and after here as well. And after. And then you have your horns.
Sick.
Just like that.
Hi.
Hi back there.
Yeah, hello. So I'm going to talk a bit about the arrangement of the guitars and maybe the bass and the vocals. Not so much about mixing. Not because I don't want to, but because...
Mixing's boring.
We didn't save the channel strip that I used for the bass. So we just have a balanced version of the bass and the guitar. But that's okay. The main part of this song came from this riff that... John McCrae came up with?
John McCrae,
John
yeah.
McCrae,
John
man.
McCrae came up with this
It
riff
was-
on the bass.
It's pretty much the whole basis of this song. Tyson recorded it on guitar here. I doubled it on the bass. Went to get the attack a little bit more with the bass. Used a really janky old Silvertone. Used a pick. Octave pedal. Pretty much no high end to that. Slammed it with compression. But yeah, doubled the guitar. I guess I can just mute all this stuff here. Kind of the basis of it. I thought that sounded a little thin in the start. So what I did was I added this. guitar, kind of doubled that D minor chord over top, and I also added a second one pan, just doing
Ala Nile Rodgers.
Alan Nile Rodgers, exactly. Kind of tucked in the back there. Well, the one guitar, this one, is pretty far forward, but the other one's kind of tucked. Those two sound like this. And all together in the actual mix. Adds a little bit more movement to the sections. That's what I was kind of going for, adding a lot more arrangement to the song. And we also did that with the auxiliary percussion, which we kind of glanced over, with having the tambourines coming halfway between the verses, as well as the congas. Some are right here. Also getting Tyson to harmonize that initial line halfway through. Again, just adds a little bit more movement to the song. Second post-chorus, same thing. We had the same guitar line that I did at the start. And I like to add a lot of variation to music that I work on personally, so when it came to the second verse, I added something very subtle that I thought was cool, and this is all it was. That's it. And it comes halfway through the verse, just like the congas and tambourine did last time, but it helps kind of push it along arrangement-wise. Right there. And a lot of these parts are kind of just fitting between Brittany's vocal lines, which I will get to in a bit because the harmonies are kind of wild for that. In terms of guitar, really simple stuff. I think I have a bit of automation on... Oh, of course, Tyson's guitar part is gone, but that is fine. I automated some chorus onto it. No, it's not on there. I won't even add that. I had some chorus automated onto the guitar when we got into the pre-chorus section. Had a lot of automation actually going for this section. We really wanted to open up. I think the Barry sax had, we had a reverb that was turning on during this part. Subtle, but it's there.
Sing it, Adam.
Sing it. I think that's pretty well it for guitar. There's one other thing I want to touch on with the bass. Bass, again, was very simple. We just... turn that down. We had the octave on it, slammed it with compression going in. I was using my board, you can't see here. Hey, Daisy.
Broken.
I know, she does that. Anyways.
Daisy wants to contribute.
Bass, we had it... I keep clipping. Anyways, bass, we had octave, pretty carved out EQ. I think I carved out a lot of the low mids, boosted the lows, and boosted the highs a lot just so we can get that attack. I used a pick. It had a bit of sidechain compression in with the kick just so we didn't get in each other's way. But then in this last section, when we get to the, I guess, the third pre-chorus part, where we get into the Half Moon Run part.
Yeah.
What I did was I threw a bus of the bass. Where'd it go here? I had a bus here that was sending to Shoutout Logic presets, a nice dirty bass amp, and a pedal board, and a phase, and a chorus. And it sounded a bit like this. I'll solo it just so you have an idea. That would be this one here, not that one. So the solo here. Kind of just a dirty bass sound. Again, gives a little bit of texture during a nice change section. Again, arrangements. We're changing it up. And also in this part that we didn't really touch on with the drums, we have what we call our boom boom main. And this was, Jordan, how'd you play this?
Bass drum between the legs. Just
Oh,
one of these.
yeah.
One of those.
George of the Jungle shit.
Jordan of the Jungle.
Yeah. Sounds like this. Very noisy. But in the context.
Yeah, what if we
Very
played
cool.
what if we played that part without that? What would that sound like?
Alright, let's see.
Context.
Context. Content or context?
Both.
Without. That reverb. And with. That's it. Sounds great, right? Let's see. What else did I want to touch on? Vocals. I think the last thing I'll touch on now is the vocals.
Gotta talk about the vocals.
Gotta talk about the vocals. It's great. Brittany killed this. Brittany came over and did some harmonies. And I said, let's do more harmonies. And she said, okay. And then we just kept doing harmonies. What I like to do is play more and then strip it back maybe 40%. And I think that's what we did with a lot of these harmonies. What we let happen, or what we did, was let the automation do half the work in the verses. I'm just trying to get a good spot to go.
We must automate.
Must automate. So these are Brittany's vocals here.
I don't like it.
Ooh, let's
Wow.
not get both of those in there.
Ooh.
Where's that coming from?
Going 90s grunge album now.
Where's that second vocal coming from?
Would be
Oh, the OG vocals
I
here.
was gonna say, yeah.
I don't like it. I don't fake it. No, if you're not literally.
Why does this sound so dry?
There's no guitar.
Ah.
Everything else is muted.
I don't like it. I don't fake it. No, if you're not literally a member of Half Moon Run, then
All right, here we go. Sorry, I gotta get back to that. So, these are Brittany's vocals during the verse.
I don't like it. I don't fake it. No, if you're not literally a member of Half Moon Run.
Great. Added a bunch of harmonies to them. I will solo out the harmonies just so we can hear how they sound.
Don't expect me to wanna take you home. I'm good, no thanks, move along.
Great. Had them pan pretty hard, I believe. Let's take a look here. Bread harms, yeah, pretty lightly panned actually. But I did automate a lot of panning in there. Kind of just accenting key lines, end of phrases, going into next phrases. The first verse we kept it pretty simple, I will say. Yeah, just looking at the automation, didn't really do too
Take
much.
you home. I'm good, no thanks, move along.
Fast forward.
Happen and give up, I'm done, please be gone.
I think if I were to stretch these out, let's see. No, I must have bounced them down. Yeah, I mean, we had pretty well harmonies going through this entire section, but then we decided just to strip them back. And I think they're a little bit more impactful in that sense.
Don't look so sad.
Oh.
There we go. I was gonna
Y'all
talk
hear
about
that?
I was gonna talk
Y'all
about
hear
those
that?
stuff. So that's a little bit of automation we had on. Where did that go to? Brittany's delay bus thing.
Gotta have delay on the vocals.
Where did that go? It's got to be just over here. Sorry, I gotta see where these guys sent to. Valhalla, and we
And
had this
delay.
echo. Where did those go?
Oh, this is the cool little like vocal trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the pre-chorus.
Is this it here? This has got to be it. 28? What's 25?
25.
Brother.
Where are you? Oh,
Oh, they're right
there
here.
it is.
I have them right here.
Over by the vocals.
Right beside the vocals,
Why?
yeah.
Wow.
What a trip.
When.
So what I did was I had the send go to a delay and a reverb. And then I also panned the delay and reverb just to kind of have it go left to right. And you can actually kind of see it all in here. Kind of all wonky. I don't know where the rest of that went. Evokes verb. Oh, it's because I got it on here. So we have our volume. We have our pan, which kind of goes janky. And the actual turning on and turning off the bus. So if we solo it, let's go like this. But not these OG ones. Get out of here.
Don't look so sad. You got it back.
Just kind of going left to right. It's kind of a callback thing that I did a few times with the vocals. You can actually see it on this pre-chorus as well.
Tendencies. If I go on,
Oh no, that I want to talk about that after. Not that part yet.
you gotta work.
Nope, that's a chorus.
There
Right
it is.
here.
Don't look so down. Turn your love around.
Same sort of thing. Had it panning left to right, kind of washing in that reverb. And in the context of the section, it's a space that I kind of wanted to fill anyways. So if we unmute it, I don't know why. Where are those OG vocals? Oh, they're already muted.
It's so sad, so long. Don't look so down. Turn your love.
Kind of just fills in this whole spacey aspect of it. The second verse, I went a little bit more hard on the automation for the vocals. Just again, to move forward this arrangement, I wanted to add some variance to the second verse because why not? I'm somebody who likes small sections of songs. I will listen to an entire song just for a very small section, and I wanted this to be that too. Same thing, had tons of harmonies for this.
My cup is full, my table is lavish. Whatever you think you can bring, I already have it. It's
Already we're having two more or one extra harmony in there, as opposed to just two end sections like the first verse. We had a lot more call and response for these harmonies, as in this section right here.
it's all order, but I insist it's imperative.
And I had that first harmony that came in just right down the middle, and as soon as that second one come in, I had it pan to the left and the other one's pan to the right just to add a little bit more space.
It's all order, but I insist it's imperative. You
And then I think I did the same sort of thing over here, but it's a little bit more chaotic, as you can see with this panning.
can see. If I go on, I promise I will bring it to your knees.
I actually had the one vocal starting way this side,
Yeah.
middle, and then that, and then the other one engaged in the center.
If I go on, I promise I will bring it to your knees. Too bad, so sad, so long.
Wow.
Harmonies are key, and if we kind of stack them like that in terms of over time, I find they have a lot more effect as well. Oh yeah, this last thing. So this whole, I keep forgetting about these
Love
little
the
things.
enthusiasm.
I keep forgetting about these little things that I did. I forget who I stole this from. You take the first word of somebody's vocals, you flip the audio, reverse it, you put it as a swell going in
Oh yeah.
and automating it. So I had that in the start of both of the vocal parts for the Half Moon Run section that we're
Right.
calling. And then tons of reverb on the vocal. I think I just had it rising the entire time. Yeah, right here. Just, well, it wasn't even
Subtle,
that much.
subtle.
Subtle, but it adds a lot. So the vocals kind of doing that swell, all soloed. Right here.
Don't look so down. Turn your love
Again, lots of reverb, slowly building up right to the end here if we keep listening.
around. Everybody knows.
And then then we kind of drop off and we get into another dry but impactful, loud last chorus.
You gotta work for your pay, baby. If you want the truth, I'll give it to you.
And that's it. Vocals were probably the most fun to do. And Brittany's great. She's a great singer.
That's badass.
like
I did
2
not
takes.
realize he did that much. Those automations and
Cool,
everything,
right?
That's real cool, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nobody really, you notice it, but you don't notice it.
I mean,
Something there is cool.
subtle, but if it wasn't there, it would be a
Yeah.
totally different song, right?
Totally. What else?
Just
I think we do have.
just talked about the craziest vocal processing. What else?
So we got some fucking cowbell.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Justin, my man.
That's clean. That was an actual cowbell.
Sorry.
That was an actual cowbell.
Oh yeah,
That sounded like
a sample, right?
I know.
Justin's
Get
the man.
yourself a good percussion player like Justin Berry.
I mean, we didn't do too much for. Look at this carving.
Wow.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
Yeah,
I think what happened with this is there was some nasty resonant frequency on his congas that I
as it goes.
didn't really like. Then we just kind of hiked up that high and
And you
make them cut.
Do a little before and after. Ah.
Bring it down. Similar. Got the oxide channel EQ to carve out. We like to do subtractive EQ, then additive EQ to get color to it. Pultec, and of course a Wolf compressor that we pretty much used on everything. That we hardly even talked about. Definitely had it on my bass. Shout out Wolfpack. Shout out
Good hurts.
Good Hurts.
Good hurts.
My boys. Or girls.
work for your payout, baby.
Keys?
Keys.
You want to touch on keys quick? I didn't really.
Do you want to touch on keys?
Sure, I touch keys.
I touch keys.
Give her.
I don't really remember.
Just say I played this. I played this.
I played
I played this. I played that.
No way. Okay, where are we? Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Sorry, can I grab this?
Oh yeah, sorry. Here we are. Okay. So we definitely had a lot going on. How do you do the zoomy zoom on yours?
Option.
There we go. Option.
You have to turn the cycle off.
Thank you. Can you tell? Can you not?
Daisy.
Daisy, come on.
Hi.
Daisy.
I know.
Get.
What to talk about?
Daisy.
I guess. So for keys, there's 2 different parts in this song because in the verses I really wanted the clav sound to be punchy and a lot more funky, and then obviously in other sections of the song we have a lot more fluidity and a lot more like reverb and stuff. So I have a piano for the pre-choruses and the choruses, and then for all the verses I have the clav parts. And I have those as 2 different settings on my Nord Stage 3 that I just swap between. Minimal processing on board there. And then here we just tracked those sections separately. And
I don't like it, I don't fake it.
solo these.
You have to
Why isn't it playing? Thank you. Oh yeah, there is some piano in there as well. E-piano.
Like a double.
Yeah, it's doubled.
E-piano
The
double.
program on my Nord is doubled. I think it's an upright.
Please be gone.
Just adds some punch. But then as soon as we get into these sections with the piano, we have a really rich, lots of reverb in there. So yeah, much did we do on here versus?
Saturation, compression. Too.
Did
Yeah,
quite a bit. Yeah.
we did an EQ because I have. Yeah, it's mostly just compression and EQ because I think I had. Oh no, it does have a send, doesn't it? Out to bus.
We
These
might have
ones.
automated because it looks like they're off right now, but.
I automated a bit of reverb.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. So Adam automated some reverb also, which sounds awesome. I'm pretty sure I had some reverb on board as well, but it was minimal. And this way it could fit in with like the reverb as with the rest of the song and the rest of the project a little bit better.
I think we use the Valhalla.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure we also used Valhalla. Where is it?
Best reverb
Can I
plugin
click
ever.
on this and it'll take me there?
If you click on the two sends, like 20 and 22,
Yeah.
just, yep, right there, Valhalla.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is on the right.
Right. That,
There we go.
super massive.
We gotta love the supermassive Valhalla reverb. It's pretty sick. Let's see. Did we? Let's see if we see it on.
When everybody knows.
Oh, no, there's no automate. So much space.
I think, keep playing, keep playing.
You gotta work for your.
22.
Yeah.
There's two.
Aha.
Yeah.
There's two key verbs.
Where did I go?
Valhalla again.
There we go. Two
Space
key
for-
verbs. Why did I have two? I don't even remember why.
I think I had a different one. I think one.
Do you want some spots?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Please.
spot.
I think what I did was I had one that was solely just for keys in certain sections, and then the second one was at the end, I believe.
For the build-up section, because that one was
Yeah, because I
a
think
totally different part too.
so right here. So that would just be the regular verb that we would have had for the keys. Actually, where did I even have that?
Yeah, I don't know. Because it comes way down at the end so that everything's super dry.
Let's go here. Let's do 20. So that would be it's just verb. I'm so glad I can edit this.
What did we do?
That's right here.
I'm gonna go where Sam was sitting and do what Sam was doing back here.
You gonna have some like falling asleep time?
Yeah, exactly.
Piano.
Such a tick project.
I mean, it's always on, but when is it on for the send? Piano, 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 piano.
There.
Maybe I just had it there by accident. That seems like it.
I think so.
That's the thing.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's muted as soon as it hits the shots.
I guess I just had a random one there. Maybe that was another one from before I started actually mixing it, and then I just completely forgot about it because I often do that. So we just had the one reverb that would be kicked in, or I guess I could just start
When
it
I
there. Why
start
not?
playing.
So right here we have it on. Super spacey.
And then obviously bring it all the way to dry for those shots.
And yeah.
Easy
I
peasy.
guess this was just always on. Oh yeah, I think I did this for our EP too with the keys. I sent a bus to a separate channel, and on the channel we had a bit of distortion
Oh
and a bit of
yeah.
compression going.
Compression is key.
just kind of helps it cut through the mix a little bit more, and I called it the dirty send.
The dirty
It's
send.
I hate to make you feel rejected all over again. I'm sorry, but that is exactly.
Like, it's just meant to add like a tiny little bit of flavor, a little
Yeah.
zhuzh, and a lot of the time also towards the end we were just like, oh man, the DSP is like crazy, or we were clipping, and so then the keys were like an easy part to just kind of, well, let's just compress that a little bit more and
Yeah.
shove it down.
Bump it with a little bit of distortion.
Yeah. Keys.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Egg.
the whole song.
Yeah.
That's the whole song.
Go listen to it.
It's
Yes.
out everywhere.
It's out everywhere. It's pretty cool.
Pay off, baby.